Microphone would be nice. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And I see Kelsey's just finishing up over there. And there's Peter himself, George Goodenough, and the big drawing. Let's see who wins. Carnivore Junkie. Don't know that person. Congratulations. Congratulations. Anyway, looks like they're finishing up over there. And we'll get started over here. How are you? How are you, my friends? Good to see you. Good to see you. As we wait for people to come on in, I'll keep an eye on Kelsey and see if he's done. Interesting show this morning. Kind of a surprise. I guess their guest didn't show up. I hate it when that happens. You sit there and you go, oh. Ad lib much? At any rate, let's get the important stuff done first. Drink it if you got it. Yes, yes. I've been waiting. I haven't had any coffee yet this morning. This is my first sip. I haven't done the leucine yet. It's a little early. I think I'm going to wait till after, and then do the leucine, because that's still a few hours before I eat my first meal, and that's the idea of it. So we'll see. We'll see. Keep changing things. Anyway, Thursday morning, before I forget, we do have a private community live stream. We have a private community live stream tonight, 7 o'clock. Everybody's over there waving goodbye, and Kiltz is officially off the air and on to the rest of their day. Oh, wow. Look who's here early. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? And now we'll wait for, we're up to 58 people. Yeah, cool. Cool. You know, Kiltz, we are one community. I realize that. We, although I never really officially associated myself and my channel as an official partner of Kiltz and KMT. We seem to travel exactly in the same circles. So I guess following him every day is a logical connection. I did something yesterday that was interesting because the KMT community is really a close-knit bunch of people. Close-knit bunch of people. Many of them I've known for years. Long before I ever became friends with Kiltz and Nelson and Ollie and the crowd. but that's taken on a life of its own. And most of you are involved in so many places where you connect all day. And my little morning stream is just one of them. And that community itself has taken on a life of its own with WhatsApp chat groups and all of you doing live streams with each other all day long. And I tuned into one of them yesterday afternoon. I was sometime after 5 yesterday afternoon. I finished everything I had to do for the day. Went outside, lit up a cigar, turned on YouTube and said, let's see who's on. And up pops a recommendation because I subscribe to Juliet Eden's channel. Up comes a recommendation, and there I see a thumbnail with Juliet and Louis Latino. I said, oh, look at that. Let's see what they're up to. And so I clicked on it. And there they were, talking about me. I said to myself, Mitch, I said, what? They're talking about you. So I listened for a while. And I didn't know whether to be flattered or insulted. But it was interesting for me because I've long since known, believe me, long since known what you guys say about me when I'm out of the room. There isn't much that's said about me that somehow, and you got to believe this, because it's a small world, it always gets back to me. Hey, Mitch, what? Did you hear what Rick said about you on so-and-so's live stream the other day? Yeah. Yeah, I did. I got the overall impression that, by and large, I get a tremendous amount of love and a lot of respect from just about all of the regular people. And I'm as guilty as you guys are of a little gossip now and then, or stating an opinion that maybe on second thought I probably might have kept my mouth shut because it's not something that I might want to get back. And I do that especially with kilts. I talk a lot about kilts. And you have to know how much I respect the man. But I talk about him sometimes as an example of certain things. And after I get done, I say, I hope he doesn't take offense at that. But I know he doesn't. So you have my permission, guys. I don't care who you are. Peter, Louis, CB, Juliet, Thomas. You know who I'm talking about. Rick. You can't insult me. I think you respect me. Say whatever you want. Be honest. Be honest about your opinions. And believe it or not, I actually can take some of that as constructive criticism. So I'm watching Julian and Louis talking about me, kind of making fun of all the coaches. You know, I went off the other day. I started basically saying, and to me it was more of a comedy routine, like too many cooks, not enough bottle washers. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. It's going to be everybody's going to be a coach, coaching each other. And I hope I didn't make the impression that I think it's a waste of time, or B, a bad thing. Because I said it, and I tried to make the point at the time that in a world where there's 350 million people in this country, 349 probably 0.9 million of them not only have never heard of carnivore, have never gotten any true information about what healthy eating really is, and that includes the majority of those that make up medical professionals, in a world where 349.9 million of the 350 people have not gotten the word. Having a few hundred carnivore coaches out there certainly can't be construed as oversaturation of the message, because the message is still viewed as lunacy, unhealthy, because we are so brainwashed. This morning on Kilts, I know they talked about, Kilts said it, and of course I've been talking about every aspect of this for years, and so has everybody else. And when you go back to Gary Taubes and Nina Teicholz, we started really to expose the history of where our shit diet came from, and that is all the Seventh-day Adventist stuff, the Ansel Keys stuff, the John Yudkin stuff, and all the old scientists like Salisbury and those guys, and the people who first started using ketogenic diets, the whole history of the thing. And I know George went through some of that this morning, and I've talked about that in my videos for years. I think at this point in time, most of us have a pretty good grasp of how this problem came to be. And it came to be, and the root cause of it is something they didn't talk about. And it's buried deep in human nature. And addiction and the addictive tendencies of the human race, and the root cause of that goes way back to all of those survival instincts that we have, and the inherited urges we have to be emotionally driven, to do those things that we need to do to survive. And it's just that simple. That's the cause of it all. And the minute we started to think and be able to manipulate things, we learned as ancient humans how to capitalize on that, and we've been doing it ever since. And now it's, like Kilt said this morning, it's all about money and power. And that's the real problem that we have. The real problem. How do we fix it? How do we fix it? I think Kiltz is on the right track. Groundswell. Education. The problem we have our opposition outnumbers us 1,000 to 1. And they've got all the money and all the power. So I guess we just need to keep chipping away at it. I guess we're not going to fix it real quick. But what we're doing, faced with the opposition that poor old John Yudkin felt when he went up against Ansel Keys, with the sugar industry behind Ansel Keys, he wasn't, like you pointed out this morning, he wasn't just fighting Ansel Keys. He was fighting Goliath. I mean, monster money and power of the companies that are just capitalizing on human nature, something that evolved in us over millions of years, and that is our addiction to sugar as a survival food. Because when it was in scarce quantity, and meat was even maybe more scarce, it was a survival food. Everybody wanted it. Nobody could find it. Well, we figured out a way now to make sure that anybody who wants it can find it in abundance, and we're paying the price for it. We're paying the price for it. Anyway, it was an interesting conversation. Peter contributed. Hi, Peter. I guess you're here. Yes. And Juliet and Lewis, I love you both. I love you both. And I did hang around. And I'm not a chatter. I don't participate that way. I'm in the community, but I'm usually silent, except for the times when I get on here and, believe you me, manage to talk more than anybody needs to talk. But I do observe, and I am part of it, but I don't chat. I don't like typing or voice typing on cell phones. I like, when I watch things, I like to really just sit back and absorb them. So I don't answer and say hi to everybody in the chat. That's never been my style. It probably never will be. I come in and basically say sometimes, hi everybody. Let you know I'm here. Maybe out of self-defense to keep you from talking bad about me. But yesterday I watched and you guys entertained me, Lewis and Juliet. It was great. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I watch you guys more than you can ever imagine. And when I watch you, this is something that sometimes, and in Yiddish we have a word called kvel. Kvelling means my heart is bursting with pride. Kvelling is what parents and grandparents do when they see their kids performing in a school play. And I feel that way about you guys. I almost feel like a proud father. So I do watch you. But I'm not the guy at the Little League game that's constantly screaming and yelling and cheering. I'm the guy that's kind of sitting back there, sly little smile on my face, approving. So if any of you ever think I discourage you from doing what you're doing, from spreading the word, from having all the live streams you want to have in bolstering the community, whether it be on Reddit, in chat rooms, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, whatever it is, even though I don't participate in those things, I encourage it because That's the only way. I don't think this problem will ever be fixed, but I think a small dent for a fortunate group of people can be made in it. And a lot of lives, I think, will be enriched in the process. And speaking of Lewis, Lewis, this is your day. This is your day. I got this picture. Got this picture from Lewis yesterday, and it was prompted by the great Beatles or Beach Boys. Inquiring minds ought to know question. And it's a picture of Lewis in Liverpool, England, visiting in front of none other than the Beatles. Now, either the Beatles were really tall guys, or Lewis is really short. But it's a great picture. It's a great picture, and I think I responded very cool to Lewis, but I wanted to show that to you. That was great. That was great. So kudos, Lewis. Kudos. I don't suppose you got a picture of a statue of you standing in front of a statues of the Beach Boys, but that was great. I thought that was great. Okay. That was my little proud father speech this morning. I love all you guys. Honest to God. You like family now. Like family. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. First one in. Jerry, last night. Wow. First to comment. And it is Yom Kippur. In case any of you are wondering, what's this Jewish kid doing a live stream on Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is the high holy holiday in the Jewish religion. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the high holidays they call it. An excuse for the synagogues to charge you exorbitant amounts of money for a ticket to the services. Just a part of religion that just turns me off is the constant infomercial aspect of it. The donation, hands out, you know. Of course, they're a business too. They got expenses. But I often say to people, how come you don't observe the high holidays? Well, number one, I have no family anymore that observes anything Jewish. All my family is gone, pretty much. My kids were never raised Jewish. Their mother was not Jewish and not religious at all. I could never have married a religious woman. I'm not a religious guy. I'm a spiritual guy. Big difference. I went through the motions and got bar mitzvahed because it was expected. And to my mother and father, who were not religious, it was a social thing in the community. Jewish parents feel obligated to spend an exorbitant amount of money throwing a lavish party for their poor little kid who has no idea what it's all about and doesn't want to know. So I got bar mitzvahed, but I wasn't religious. I never went to synagogue as a kid after my bar mitzvah. I didn't believe any of that stuff, never have. I came to terms with that when I was 11, and that's just me. It's just me. I've never tried to convince other people not to believe in whatever religion they believed in, but I started observing religion, and I studied religious history, the history of religions. I saw the strife caused by people's differences of opinion about whose God can beat up whose other God, and I decided it doesn't make any sense to me. So I became secular. But I'm still Jewish. I'm still Jewish. Jewish are my people, are my ancestors, are my country. I still feel an affinity for the country of Israel. That has nothing to do with religion. So Yom Kippur means, to me, absolutely nothing. And then people say, well, you mean you don't believe in God? I said, not the way you do. I have a different view. Well, don't you, what happens if there really is heaven and hell? And are you okay with the fact that if you don't believe and pay lip service to all that you're going to go to hell? And my answer to them is I think, a logical one. And I say, well, I always say I could be wrong, but I doubt it. But let's suppose there is this God who exists exactly as you describe him or her. Because that settles half the controversy right there. And they judge you. They judge you on things that are intrinsic to who you are. They don't judge you like an umpire judges a game and looks for a foul. If indeed heaven is a place reserved for people who have done good things and have been honest and have been a good person and haven't committed crimes against people or caused people to suffer. And if this God of yours, the way you describe him, knows everything, knows all your thoughts, when that judgment day comes, this God would have to let me into heaven because I know that I qualify. And if I know I qualify, by definition, he would have to know I qualify too. And I never bought into this God as a punisher theory. I never bought into that fear of God. Put the fear of God in him. I always thought, even as a little kid, why should we be afraid of God? We should be afraid of our parents spanking us because that's punishment. Why should we be afraid? And, when you look at some of George Carlin's routines he goes on about the wrath of God and all that, and then he comes out and he says, but he loves you. You have to realize that not everybody can come to terms with that lack of consistency. So I don't buy it, and I don't feel like there's any chance of me going to hell because I'm doing a live stream here, you guys, on Yom Kippur. So I hope that puts that to bed. And if you're Jewish and you go to shul, say hi for me. I know that's going to sound like heresy to a lot of people, but there's more and more of us in the human race that finally can't reconcile all this stuff in our minds. We can't do it. That happened to me at a very young age. Anyway, I hate to get off on that stuff, but I thought I saw the word Yom Kippur in there, and I said, well, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm such a heathen that I'm actually doing a live stream on Yom Kippur. Papa Carnivore's here. Mike Prager was here last night, and we had Nikki W. and Don Schonger and Lady June in the middle of the night over there in England. Patty's Garden at 2-something in the morning. Brian Dish, how you doing? Brian was in here. Mike Seeley, first in this morning at 4:49 a.m. Wow. And Julian, what the hell are you doing up at 3:46 a.m. your time? Holy mackerel. Wow. I sure liked my little video yesterday. Yeah. I've got to have those signs now. I don't know if all that was necessitated by the fact that I'm somewhat physically impaired by the stroke, and I have to try to figure out a way to do things that doesn't require as much risk, let me put it that way, of falling or anything. But it works out great. Works out great. And I got a comment on my new camera. Said that it's not as distorted. And yes, I don't look like an alien in it with some of these, which is something sometimes you get out of some of these 360-degree cameras because of extreme wide angle of them really sometimes distorts. And that's a function of the software correcting that stuff. I chimed in early this morning. I was up early. I was up about 4:45 this morning. And we had Rick chimed in. How you doing from Miami, Patty's Garden. Mike Shilley Sr. chimed in. Wayne Herman, North Carolina. And Jem is here. Hi, Jem. How are you? Drink it if you got it. Okay, I will do that. Tell Peter. Peter says, if she gets scared off because of how I eat, bye-bye. Attaboy, Peter. Attaboy, don't you change your life at this stage. Oh, I could give dating advice. I can tell you everything. I can tell you everything that doesn't work. Believe me. In fact, I can't even tell you one thing that actually does work long term. Because here I am. And it wasn't for lack of trying either. So I don't know if that's just me or that says something about the human condition. But anyway, Glenn Guthrie's here. Lady June 658. CB Carmack. Good morning, CB. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Larry Ryan. And, yes, look at this. Robbie Autry is back this morning. Back in the saddle at number 1. Congratulations, Robbie, right there. 7 a.m. followed by Don Shiger, main runner. Donna Ray, how are you this morning? Lambs, a couple of milliseconds behind this morning. And Rick himself. Rick's a real star in the KMT community. Even George Goodenough has got a plastic ducky that he brings out at the mere mention of Rick's name. Awe-inspiring, Rick. Absolutely. Marla Kelly, how you doing, Marla? Good morning to you, Brian. Brian Dishes back, Jeff Streslak, and Anthony. Man, a few words here. And Rick is hashtagging Kmart. Is Kmart still in business? Princess, how are you? Long time no see. Good to see you. And Juliet's back with us. Hi. Michael Pregler's back. Okay is here. Good to see you this morning. Jeb says, love the blue sound at 4 a.m. Dark out listening. Yeah, not a bad. It'll be a great clock radio song. You know, I can see that. That'll do it. That's Rick's wake-up music. I could be laying there in bed, thinking about getting up. With that playing in the background, I'd probably stay there, though. That's the problem. Captain Oregon, Steve Rogers, in the house. How you doing, Steve? Good morning to you. And Brian, be mad is here. See anybody else new? We're just kind of ambling today, one of those days. Put QQQ in the chat if there's anything you want me to address. We've got so many people I think are qualified to answer so many of these questions right here in the chat that I don't know sometimes if I have a unique perspective to offer anymore. Again, I don't think that's a bad thing. That's, let's say, the feeling a proud professor might get. watching his students take over. Because we all got to retire someday, although I don't think that's ever going to happen to me. Gemma says, I look good in blue. Thank you so much. We tend to wear, I don't know what it is, but I like kilts. He wore a white shirt, white T-shirt the other day. I almost didn't recognize him. We tend to wear black so much. Does it make you look thinner? Maybe that's why. Duca says, how are you, boss? Wants to be wise like me. Well, the only way I know to get wise is to get old. And even then, you're lucky if it happens. Jerry's back, says hello, everyone. And everybody's saying hi to everybody. Sharon McCabe is here. Said good morning, Cleveland. Carnivore, good morning up there in Cleveland. All right, I'm going to start looking at some questions here. Didn't watch any news this morning. I watched kilts. I watched Peter. R. Pierce is here. How you doing? And Peter shows up here at 7:03, right after Kelsey ended. Did a good job. And Peter says, I gave Mitch a shout out at the end of Kilts. And so hopefully it helps drive more. Thank you, Peter. Much appreciated. I really appreciate it. MK, 17,225 steps so far. You must thought, where do you live? Are you over in across the pond? Here it says, is this Mitch or AI Mitch? At the real Mitch. That's me. At the real Mitch. An AI of me would be scary. Someday it's going to probably happen, but I'm not a big enough star for anybody to go to all that trouble. We're starting to see AI versions of so many of the big YouTubers now. It's going to be a problem. There's so much. They say that 50% or more of the videos that are on YouTube right now are bots and artificial intelligence. Not even real people. Every time, think about this. Who are the most famous faces? Who are the most famous faces that you're going to see on YouTube thumbnails? In the carnivore space, it's going to be Ken Burry, Anthony Chafee, and Sean Baker, but nowhere near as recognizable as Ken Burry. In the keto space, it's going to be Sten Ekberg. It's going to be Eric Berg. How many YouTube videos have you seen with one of their pictures on the thumbnail, clicked on it, and they were nowhere to be seen in the video, but there was flashing words on the screen and what sounded like their voice narrating. And you could watch the entire video and never realize that, say, Ken Burry had nothing whatsoever to do with that video. That was artificially generated. His voice was dubbed over a script, and AI can mimic voices to the T, and not only voices, but accents, mannerisms, everything. And you just watch somebody else plagiarizing the identity of somebody who's worked a lifetime establishing that identity. And if you're lucky, the message in that video won't be propaganda designed to discredit that very person. And that's where we're headed with this. The uses for that in politics are endless. So be careful. I always now, when I see a YouTube video presented to me with an obvious thumbnail, first thing I do is look at whose channel, who is the channel. If I see Ken Berry's picture and I don't know who the channel is, and it's some generic channel name like Excellence in Nutrition or something like that with nobody's name on it, I don't even click on it. I go immediately to YouTube and say, remove this, hide this channel from my feed. I don't ever want to there. And half now of the videos on YouTube are being stolen. Somebody else's fame is being stolen. Who else do you see? Jordan Peterson. And the granddaddy of all images to be put up on YouTube thumbnails, Joe Rogan. If Joe Rogan made half of the videos on which his face appears, he would need a staff of 500 people just to produce them and upload them. And you can use 10 or 15 seconds of a clip of anybody's with no fear of copyright ramifications under something called the fair use policy. And that's how come people can use, and me too, a little 5-second clip from a movie of Bill Murray's, saying something, because that's fair use. You can use it in the context of your story without actually relying on its story. You start going into 15 or 30 seconds, they'll claim a copyright strike on you. So when they just put in a little clip of Joe Rogan saying a few words from one of his live streams, which anybody can download, they're stealing Joe Rogan's life and all his hard work. And that's concerning. But people won't use that in a nefarious way, will they? That question would be the absolute epitome of naivety, gotta tell you. All right. It's fun. It's fun. There's a comment that could be taken any which way. I like it. I like it. Question, Lewis. So you coming back to you were talking about that yesterday, Lewis. I've never been to Hack Your Health. I was at Kiltz's deal in Kiltz and Curry, the Healing Humanity deal in February, right before my stroke. But Hack Your Health is, let me just put it to you this way. If I hadn't had the stroke, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Just a chance to, and I wouldn't even, I doubt that most of the people there would even know who I was. Just like Sally Norton didn't know who I was when I asked her the question on Kiltz's Monday Zoom call. I'm not that big a star in the carnivore community. Ken Berry knows who I am. I don't know if Anthony Chafee would know who I was, or Sean Baker. I don't know if I want to be that big a celebrity. I'm too old. I'm not trying to build an empire here. If I look at Kiltz's. I remember my difference in my attitude being Kiltz's age, 69, 9 or 10 years ago. And the 70s are a very transformative year for any human being, because if you're not already dead, I think in the 70s is where you really start to see the effects of aging. I think Carnivore does a great deal to slow it down, but you also see a diminishing ambition. You're like, I've always been an incredibly ambitious guy in life. I'm not as ambitious anymore. I want to coast. I want to stop and smell the roses at this point. I want to stop trying to worry about my future. This is my future. There comes a point in life. Now, I don't ever want to stop working or trying to be relevant in some way or another. But I'm not starting any multi-million-dollar companies like I used to have. I don't want that level of activity anymore. I don't want to be Kiltz. I don't want to be building any huge empire for whatever reason. I don't want to be Sean Baker or Ken Berry. If I was 40, 50, 60, yeah, I'd probably be doing that. But I'm almost, I say pushing 80. Yeah, it's not that far away. So if I hadn't had the stroke, Lewis, back to your question, I wouldn't miss it. Because walking 5 or 10 miles down the hallways of a huge convention center, schmoozing with people from morning, to night, walking here, walking a mile out to where my car is parked, checking into a hotel that costs $300-400 a night because it's too far for me to drive home like I did from Orlando, to spend the money to the entrance fee, the travel expenses, the hotel expenses, to go to an event that large, for why? Why? For my ego, so I can feel like I'm a star when people say, look, there's old guy, there's Mitch. To have to rent a mobility scooter, because even with a walker, there's no way at my stage of recovery that I would survive without being dangerous and risking falling or injuring myself. I have to come to terms with the reality of my life has changed. There's no physical or practical way, Lewis, that it makes any sense for me to even take the risk at this point of leaving home. I leave home and go to the post office. I leave home. I don't even go to the grocery store. They bring it to me. So no, as much as I'd want to be there, and let's suppose everybody got together and said, let's bring Mitch to Hack Your Health. Let's treat him like a king. Let's send a limo for him to drive him to Tampa. Because I've done that. I mean, back in my money days, my ex-wife and I and another couple would hire a limo in Orlando and have them drive us to Burns Steakhouse in Tampa, spend a small fortune on dinner there, and limo us home. I mean, that was It's a standard operating procedure for us. So I've been to Tampa in a limo already. It wouldn't even be that much treat for me. Or even if Kelsey sent his private jet and pilot over here to pick me up and fly me to Tampa and chauffeur me to Hack Your Health and rent me a mobility scooter and push me around, I would still have to err on the side of might not be the best thing for me to be doing right now for my health. Might be better for me just to be healing, making sure I eat what I want to eat and not overdoing it at this point, because I can tire easily. So let me leave it at this, Louis. I so appreciate your desire to have me there. I'd rather have all you guys actually figure out some way to come to a meetup here in Melbourne and be more prone to want to have that kind of thing. But that involves a lot of travel and expense on everybody's part. So it's going to have to be. But I see you every day on here. And this, to me, even though it's a virtual meeting, it's a meeting nonetheless. And I get together with my friends. So, Louis, that's my thinking on the matter. And I've been to so many of these conventions, and it was never a problem for me. I never had a problem being up to anything physically, but whew, you see me in the kitchen, walking from the refrigerator to the stove. Can you imagine me trying to navigate a convention hall without? And I don't know if it's a pride thing or not, but the thought of me riding a mobility scooter anywhere, I'm not ready for that yet. I am not ready to admit, for the same reason that I refuse to go to the DMV and get a handicap sticker for my car. It's just my foolish pride and arrogance. And that would be a surrender to me. And I'm not ready to surrender yet. So I'll keep fighting. And hopefully I got a long time to go and many more years of many more events. Look at Nelson. Nelson had a stroke, 6 years ago? I think after his stroke was in worse shape than I was after mine. It just takes time. So, I'll get it back. I'll get it back. But thanks for the thought. Thanks for the thought. And someday I'd like to meet all you people in person, every one of you. Every one of you. Here's a few cues. Does anyone else make their coffee without a cup? Does anyone else make the coffee without a cup? Seems like I do this about 3 times a year. Oh, I get it. I get it. You got a Keurig machine. I've done that a couple times. And fortunately, the Keurig has a little catcher underneath the cup that will hold about a cup of coffee. So you can do that and not make a big mess. But when you try to take that thing out of there, you're going to spill a lot of it on the way to the sink. That's funny. Yeah, Jeff. You're not the only one. Let's see. I can't believe it's almost an hour already. What the hell did I talk about today? You guys are talking plenty. That's great. I have got a long way to go to catch up, though. What are we talking about lately here? We have we're just all having a conversation as if I'm not even here. You guys don't need me. I've already said, why don't I just start the live stream, put on a little music, hit my be right back button, and let you guys have at it. I don't want to do that. Excuse me. Janet liked the picture, Lewis's picture. And Tristan asked Peter, question, Old Guy Carnivore. Tristan, what are some tips to raise your testosterone levels? I had mine tested, and it's 330. The doctor said that was normal. But for a 29-year-old man, I'm not convinced. Oh, man. Well, my testosterone, when it was checked in January, when I had my last physical, was 929. Three times the 330 that they tell you is normal. And I'm a 78-and-a-half-year-old man. Well, I was 77-and-a-half back then, but 929. The year before, it was 650. And that was the first time I ever had it checked. I never had a reason to have it checked because I've never had any performance issues. Let's put it that way. I had just the opposite. Too much libido. It's been a plague all my life. And I never worried about my butt. Being a carnivore, when my LDL came back one year at 450, and my VA doctor / nurse practitioner, who's known me for years, got done with her speech. I gave her copies of studies, my speeches, and I've been doing this for years, educating her. And I said, hey, do me a favor, just for grins. I know you don't normally check this, but did you know that testosterone is built on a precursor of cholesterol? Did you know that? And so are the female sex hormones. That if you don't have enough cholesterol, your testosterone is going to be low. Did you know that? And did you know that the reason that there's so many people on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, is because we're giving everybody statins and they're not making enough of the precursors to make enough testosterone, and they're turning all the boys into girls and causing all this sexual confusion that's happening today? Were you aware of that? Do you ever put two and two together and say, how come little boys think they're little girls now? And how come infertility is at an all-time high? Erectile dysfunction is becoming commonplace in American men. You ever wonder what caused all that? Did you ever stop to think that maybe it's a double whammy of a ridiculously stupid plant-based diet and the quest to artificially, through drugs and statins, lower what is supposed to be a higher level of LDL so that we can function like we have for millions of years before we stopped screwing around with it? Did you ever think that? And I've been talking to her like that for years. I said, tell you what, I'm 77 and a half years old. She said, oh, sure. So she ordered a testosterone test the first year. It came back 629. Next time I saw her, well, when I saw her for the physical, when she had that result, I got this Cheshire Cat grin on my face. Because my testosterone was higher than all of these other younger military studs and muscle people that are taking statins, because the VA pretty well says she has to prescribe them if you got a LDL over 100 or something ridiculous like that. And I said, see? And then the next year I had to take it, it was 929. So all I can tell you is I don't know any better way. Is a long answer to a short question. I don't know a better way to raise testosterone than be a carnivore. Number one, cut out anything that even drives by on the highway. If it drives by a soybean field, avoid it. There's a reason. And it's the inclusion of soybean in all forms, tofu, soybean oil, all this stuff in our diet. And the fact that they brag about the fact that that lowers your cholesterol naturally. So you should eat all of this stuff. Well, that's going to lower your testosterone. Now, if you're a carnivore, you're already avoiding soy. Avoid all soy, all grains. Sugar, not so bad. If you can eat a little sugar without binging, that's not going to hurt your testosterone. But the plant stuff, wow. The seed oils, the grains. Carnivore will do it, and under no circumstances do you want to take a statin. I've never seen a study where they actually, over time, plotted testosterone levels over statin use. But I'd have to believe that they're correlated or causative. But who wants to fund a study like that? There'd be no profit in it convincing people they should not take a statin. So nobody's going to fund a study who the scientists who really understand how this stuff works will come out and put themselves out of business. So I think that's about the best I can do. There are certainly no shortage of charlatans out there that want to sell you some magic potion to raise your testosterone or testosterone replacement therapy. I don't think you need it. Now, I can only talk from my perspective and using me as in a one study, and my testosterone is way up there. And at 78 and a half years old, the ladies still aren't safe, but I managed to keep it under control. The price is it's too expensive emotionally and financially. But the will is still there. Is definitely still there, and the interest is still there. So I hope I answered that question. That's a good question. Okay. I was talking about religion, so you all started talking about religion. So we're going to skip over all that. Peter, the problem is now I'm single again, and my libido and testosterone is off the charts. It is a problem. It is a problem, Peter. It is a problem. And unfortunately, it's an addiction, even though when I hear people talk about sex addiction, I say to myself, well, of course, sex is addicting for the same reason sugar is addicting, and cocaine is addicting, and drugs are addicting. It's because it's the ultimate dopamine rush. It's the ultimate biological imperative to get it done. And the way we're pushed into getting it done is we're rewarded with pleasure. Addiction is that simple. Addiction is about the body saying, we need to do this. We got to make it pleasurable or it's not going to happen. That's why food tastes good. The chemistry is simple but easily hijacked. And the corrupt and greedy have hijacked it. And that's why we're in the mess we're in. And the sex trafficking industry has grown to the point, because they can count on the fact that men like Bill Clinton will risk everything they've worked for their entire life to get a BJ from some fat, not so good looking intern in the White House. It's got to be a pretty strong imperative to make a man like that risk everything he's taken a lifetime to build. That's what we're dealing with. That's addiction. Of course it's an addiction. This nonsense ought to cure sex addiction. You may as well cure breathing addiction while you're at it, because we're addicted to that too. So, Peter, yes. And hence one of my favorite expressions, thinking with your little head instead of your big head. And that's to be expected. The world runs on the expectation of that. Every advertisement on TV, sex is one of the greatest ways to sell anything. You sell cars. That's why appearance is so important to us. People have their head up their butts if they don't recognize the reality of human behavior and understand why and where it came from. That's the key to understanding basically everything. And why we can't stay away from the Doritos. It's all explained by the same thing. I've said it so many times. I've talked about the evolutionary causes of all of this behavior. And it's all very simple to understand. Doesn't take a rocket scientist. And yet nobody talks about it. They turn it into a disease, sex addiction. Why the hell do you think the internet, more than half of all traffic on the internet is pornography? Why do you think that? You think that those are all sick people? Those are normal people. Believe me, they're the normal people. Because without these drives, without these addictions, without these urges, the human race would have gone extinct millions of years ago. If chasing the opposite sex around wasn't the prime directive, the main imperative, the meaning of life, we can attribute lofty things to the meaning of life. But the meaning of life is stay healthy long enough to reproduce, and we're pretty well finished with you. As long as you have guaranteed your offspring's existence. That's the meaning of life. No more, no less. That's the meaning of life to every animal on the planet. That's the meaning of life to a dog, to a cat, to a snake, and to a human. That's the meaning of life. Procreate. Which is why I sometimes think that living to be a ripe old age is not something that nature really intended. We humans can contribute as we get older. We can contribute in ways other than what nature needs, intellectually, by counseling, by advice. So we can still be relevant, but we're not meant to stay relevant. Not in the animal kingdom. I'm philosophizing again. It's 10 after 8. Oh, wow. And I'm still way behind. All right, let me see if I have any more questions here, and then we'll wrap it up for today. And I will see all of you private community members tonight. I see Lori Weitzel's here. Hi, Lori. Lizzie. Hey, Lizzie, how are you? Rick. Feral Grandma's here. How you doing? Good to see you. Jebbet's still here. And I've seen Peter in the chat for a while. There he is. 8 o'clock. DS11 just asked you a question about dry skin on his forehead and what to do about it. Well, a lot of us have that. I had terrible eczema on my forehead. The diet has got to fix most of that. But sometimes, believe it or not, you can just take a little tallow. And in fact, I need to do it because it's feeling a little dry. Take a little towel and put it on there. There are some creams that dermatologists can prescribe when all else fails. I have some of them because I have one that was prescribed years ago. I hope it's still good. I don't use it very often. It's one of these cortisone type based creams. I don't like to use that stuff, but I would try a little tallow. And see if that works. Turns out that rubbing cow on you kind of cures a lot of things. Amazing. And a lot of people Snake Plissken. Listen, what kind of cigar you smoke? I smoke Perdomo Fresca Maduro wrappers. Few different shapes. Juliet says she thinks Rick will be a star at Hack Your Health. Yeah. I hope so, Rick. I hope so. Be proud. Be proud, man. I've got a slight skin rash on my forehead, but yeah, they don't need cream or medication. I am putting bacon fat on it as an experiment. Do you like my idea? Yeah, bacon fat might work too. Bacon fat might work on it. Tallow, bacon fat. Natural moisturizers. And Snake Plissken is here. I trust all of you know who Snake Plissken is. Fictional character. Played by Kurt Russell, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's go back down to the bottom of the chat. I got Peter. Juliet, I had an issue with my gallbladder several years back, and I wanted to remove it. I couldn't get out of the doctor. So yeah. I imagine if you're in enough pain, you might consent to it. Peter, we were talking about AI. And Peter's not going to Hack Your Health either. It's such a... I don't like really huge crowds. I never did. I don't like going to sporting events. I never liked... I went to Disney, but I hated the crowds. I hate to be herded. Maybe that's it. Maybe I have like sheepophobia. When I see the crowd doing something, I do an about face, march the other way most of the time. I've been that way all my life. Everything I do is basically let me go where the other people are not going. I don't identify with most people. Peter says, Frick, don't expect a return invitation. Yeah, that's an idea, Rick. See how many people you can just really alienate. How many people you can turn off. That's funny. Any more questions? What's this? Snake Pit. Hey, Mitch, what kind of cigar do you smoke? I answered that one already. Yes. And here's a question. I have a question. I have a slight skin rash. Got that one. Okay, we're sneaking up on it. 15 minutes behind. I gotta stop reading these things and just I try to go fast and look for the cues, and then I get sucked in. I see a word or something, I start reading, and I never get anywhere. Question: 30 days carnivore and no weight loss, is that normal? There's no normal, Jeff. The word normal is not normal. Some people gain weight. Who knows what's going on in your body? Your doctor doesn't even know. The only thing you can do, start watching some of these videos like Ken Berry and say 15 reasons why you're not losing weight on carnivore. 7 reasons why you're not losing weight on carnivore. And they tell you places to look. Chances are you're sabotaging it somehow. Or you have a real medical condition, a real issue with your hormone imbalances, thyroids, insulin sensitivity. You're metabolically so trashed that it's going to take a while. You need to be doing a stricter diet than you're doing. You're still allowing, whether you believe it or not, more than enough sugar in your diet to sabotage any weight loss. Nothing happens for no reason. So if it's been 30 days, you can say, are there other gains I see? And non-scale gains. Have you taken a tape measure? You might be losing fat and gaining muscle, but yet not losing weight. So you got to allow for the reality that there are non-scale victories. How you feeling? Are you feeling better? I don't know anything about you. Are you a diabetic? You take a lot of medication. There are so many medications, especially steroids, that cause weight gain. And all the dieting in the world is not going to help you lose weight. So I would have no idea. I would say, who among us is normal, basically? I hate to use that word normal. There is no such thing. Compared to what? Normal compared to what? Average is not normal. Who defines normal? Who defines what the normal temperature is? The normal sea level is compared to when? 1 million years ago? You know, we have a habit of wanting to make things stand still so we can fit in. They don't. Everything's always changing. Any more questions before I wrap it up? 8:16, 3 minutes behind. Question: how do you like the new air fryer? Jim, you talking about the new one that I just opened? I haven't done a review of yet because it's not going to be officially released till the 9th of October. I haven't started filming yet any videos with it. I'm going to start probably this weekend. So I'll have something ready to release on the 9th. And I don't think it'll replace, in my heart, my Typher Dome 2. And that's on sale right now, by the way. That's on sale. You can get that air fryer. It's a $500 air fryer. You can get it for $315 right now. There's a commercial plug. The link, it's on my Amazon page on my website. You can go to typher.com, typhur.com, and use the discount code Carnivore, one word. It's in the video that I put out yesterday. The links are in there. And it's a good, I mean, it keeps going on and off of sale. It's not like you better buy it now or you never get it again, but it's on sale now. And that's a great price for it. And it's a hell of an air fryer. The new one is cheaper. It'll be around $150 with the discount code. And it has the built-in Bluetooth thermometer. But it's a tall basket style air fryer. The advantage it has over it doesn't have the self-cleaning mode, which is, to me, the main selling point of it, and the big-ass basket that you can cook a ton of food in. It's just the cleanest, neatest. I haven't even done the self-cleaning on that type. I've been using it for 2 months now. It's not dirty enough to clean it inside. It's incredible. But I'm going to run the self-cleaning thing anyway one of these days pretty soon, and I'll film it. But the new one, with the built-in thermometer and the lower price, even without the self-cleaning, might be a hell of a deal for, anybody on a carnivore, on a, say, a budget. Typher, I'm convinced, after my experience with their products, they're Cadillac stuff. I mean, I think Ninja's good. I've been recommending Ninjas for years. I still have a couple of them. But I think Typher really takes the product to the next level. They don't have a million different gadgets like Ninja has. They're not trying to be the biggest, but boy, their engineering and the quality of the materials they use and the way it cooks and how easy it is to clean, I'm sold on it. Took them a while to sell me, but I'm sold on them. So, yeah, I love their products. And since they're always having some kind of sale or other, I think they're a good deal. Even though they might be a little bit more money, I really like them. Doesn't mean other air fryers aren't good. Basically, air fryers just blow hot air over food and cook it. So, thanks for asking. Anybody buy me any coffee today? I don't think so. I don't think so. No. No. It's okay. All right. We at the bottom yet? See, I'm losing my audience. Mitch, are we more sensitive to the effects of freezing at the dentist? It's been 3 days and I can still feel it. I have no idea, AP. You mean the effects of, are you talking about numbing when you say freezing? Novocaine? That I can't help you with. I haven't noticed it, not on Carnivore. I've had some dental work done and been just like it always is. Maybe check with your dentist. Maybe he needs to take another look. I would say after 3 days, you shouldn't. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe what you're actually experiencing. So I can't tell. Okay, everybody's giving everybody advice. That's great. 8:22. Gonna get there. Gonna get there. There it is. At the bottom. Lori, I don't like anyone to insist I do anything. You and me both. You know how I feel about being told what to do. What I need to do. God, I opened my mouth and somebody bought me a coffee. Wow, to the rescue. Who was it? Tanya, Kitchen Witch. Bought me 3 coffees. Thank you so much, Tanya. Ah, what a sweetheart. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here, Mitch. Love you. Back at you. Back at you, Tanya. Thanks so much. At any rate, to all my Jewish friends, Happy New Year. It's about all I got to say to my Jewish friends. Peter, Happy New Year to you. I don't know if you're going to go to shul today or not, but that's about it. I have nothing else to talk about. I'll save a few things for this evening. I hope to see everybody in the private community. There's a little happy music. Say goodbye to your friends in the chat, and we'll call it a morning. We've still managed to go an hour and a half today. Never fails. You can always count on Lori dancing with musical notes and dancers. Aaron, clapping her hands. Mike Silly, see you this evening. Lady June says bye all. Jem, Mitch, and Mitch says have a great day and eat meat. Brian says Mitch, have a great day. I intend to. Jeff S says bye everyone. Tanya, see you guys. Amy's here. Hi Amy. Rockin'. Coach Amy, bye everyone. Leslie, see you tonight. Juliet, see you soon. Hopefully you'll be in there tonight with us. And Jerry, Mark C, thanks for coming. DS111, I don't like happy music. Well, you know, I take requests. Let me know what kind of music you like. Finished it. Yes, yes, and the music's about to end. Peter, I'm Jew light. Yeah, we used to call him reformed. I'm beyond reformed. I'm overhauled. Overhauled. Listen, guys, thanks so much for coming. I know it's been a little bit strange this morning, wandering here and there, but hopefully a little entertaining. Take the rest of the day off. Oh no, I can't even end the stream. Oh, my mouse decided to quit right then. Here we go. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.